Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Newsbrowse News broadcast. The Middle East conflict is rapidly escalating, with the U.S. military allegedly conducting airstrikes on Iran's nuclear facility area in Isfahan, while Iran simultaneously attacked a Kuwaiti oil tanker. According to the Free Times, this dual development signals a swift progression towards a full-scale war affecting global energy and regional security. Satellite data indicates explosions near Mount Safa's military zone in Isfahan, a critical site for Iran's high-enriched uranium storage. Former U.S. President Donald Trump shared footage of the explosions. In retaliation for the alleged U.S. strike, an Iranian drone precisely hit a fully loaded Kuwaiti tanker in Dubai waters, causing a massive fire, highlighting Iran's control over the Strait of Hormuz, a vital route for one-fifth of global oil transport. The conflict is expanding beyond air operations, with the U.S. Department of Defense deploying 2,500 Marines and 1,000 paratroopers to the region. Washington has warned of broader offensives, including targeting Iran's power plants and seizing Karg Island if the conflict continues and the strait remains blockaded. Regional tensions are high, with air defense alarms sounding in Bahrain and Jerusalem, and Saudi Arabia intercepting ballistic missiles over Riyadh, as the situation further deteriorates amid increased Israeli-Hezbollah fighting and renewed U.S.-Israeli strikes on Tehran. According to a report from China News Service, Zhong Jinwan, on March 31, local time, Ibrahim Zofagari, spokesman for the Khatam al-Anbiya Central Headquarters of the Iranian Armed Forces, declared that the United States and Israel's strategic miscalculations regarding the situation in Iran are leading them towards destruction. He firmly stated that any attempt by Washington and Tel Aviv to control the vital Strait of Hormuz will ultimately fail. Zofagari explained that U.S. and Israeli leaders have made erroneous assessments by using solely material standards to evaluate Iran's strength. This miscalculation, he asserted, prevents them from accurately forecasting the powerful resistance exhibited by the Iranian populace and its armed forces. He also criticized U.S.-Israeli tactics, including propaganda campaigns, displays of advanced weaponry, and targeted assassinations of Iranian civilians, scientists, and high-ranking commanders as efforts to compel Iran into submission. Yonhap News Agency reports that Seoul stocks plummeted over 4% on Tuesday, extending their losing streak to a fourth consecutive session. The benchmark Korea Composite Stock Price Index, KOSPI, fell 224.84 points, or 4.26%, closing at 5,052.46. This significant dip was primarily driven by heavy foreign selling and intensified risk-off sentiment amidst the escalating Middle East conflict. U.S. President Donald Trump notably renewed threats against Iran on Monday, vowing to completely obliterate key oil infrastructure like Karg Island, power plants, and oil wells if a peace deal is not swiftly reached. Tehran, however, rejected these proposals as unrealistic, illogical, and excessive. Further exacerbating global supply concerns, Iran-backed Houthi militants in Yemen joined the conflict over the weekend. An analyst at Shinhan Securities noted that the Iran crisis, combined with rising oil prices, is elevating the equity risk premium, necessitating a cautious market approach given potential downward revisions to earnings forecasts. The Justice Department, under the Trump administration, announced it is suing the Minnesota Department of Education to compel adherence to federal policies that bar transgender student athletes from competing in girls' sports. Filed Monday in the U.S. District Court for the District of Minnesota, the lawsuit is part of broader federal actions against the Democratic-led state, UPI reports. Attorney General Pam Bondi stated the DOJ acknowledges biological reality and aims to prevent unfair, deeply inappropriate, and dangerous situations for high school girls. Federal prosecutors argue that Minnesota's policies violate Title IX by creating unfair competition, denying equal educational opportunities, and exposing female students to hostile environments. They emphasize undeniable physiological differences between sexes. In contrast, several medical and civil rights organizations, including the American Academy of Pediatrics, advocate for transgender athletes competing according to their gender identity, citing health benefits. Minnesota Attorney General Keith Ellison dismissed the lawsuit as a sad attempt to get attention, highlighting his own pending litigation against the Trump administration over federal funding threats. Ellison also pointed to other national issues, accusing the president of bullying vulnerable children. Australia's online safety watchdog, the E-Safety Commissioner, announced it is considering legal action against major social media platforms, including Meta, Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, TikTok, and YouTube. The accusation is that these companies are not fully complying with a new law, effective December 10th, which bans Australian children under 16 from holding accounts on their platforms. According to the Canadian press, the watchdog's first compliance report revealed that while 5 million Australian accounts have been deactivated, a substantial number of underage children continue to use or create accounts. The E-Safety Commissioner expressed significant concerns about these 5 platforms, citing poor practices such as allowing unlimited attempts to bypass age verification. While other platforms like Reddit and X are not under investigation, courts could impose fines of up to 49.5 million Australian dollars, 33 millions, for systemic non-compliance. Communications Minister Anika Wells believes platforms are deliberately undermining the world-leading law. Legal experts suggest courts will ultimately define reasonable steps in age assurance. That's all for this video. Thank you for watching. See you in the next video.